Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests.
Good evening.
Apparently tonight is a very educational session because I, Dr. Syafiq, will also be talking to you about memories. Specifically, how we remember and how we forget. But before we touch on these two ends of the spectrum, firstly we must know what exactly are memories. So we all know that in our brains, we have millions and millions of neurons. And with these neurons, we are able to transmit electrical impulses from our brains to the rest of our body, allowing our hands to move, allowing all of our organs to function well. So what most people don't know is that memories are the same as electrical impulses. But instead of going through the rest of the body, they're only centered in the brain. Well, obviously, because that's where you remember. And it triggers, the only way this memory is triggered when our brain decides to fire an electrical signal from, let's say, neuron A to neuron B. So, to better give you a visual example, imagine this is neuron A, imagine that is neuron B, and imagine I'm the electrical impulse. So if my brain decides to push me from this end to that end, you will have an image of me walking from that end to this end. And that is basically how our memories work. Our brains fire that electrical signal for 1 second only. It only needs 1 second from that end to this end, and we are already seeing 10 seconds of imagery, maybe even longer. So we've established what exactly are memories. Now, there's a problem here. We know that there are millions and millions of neurons, but each day we ourselves create more than that. We create billions and billions of memories. So as a world-renowned doctor, if my math is right, how can a billion memories fit into a million neurons? That's small space. Therefore, a question arises: how is it that memories are stored? So to better show you, I'm going to use this analogy. Imagine there's two train stations, station A and station B. And there's 3 different trains: the blue train, the red train, and the purple train. Obviously, as you can see, their destinations and their starting point are the same. The only difference is that their pattern of movement differs. So our memories actually work, how memories are stored is that it works in the same exact concept. Our memories, in one neuronic pathway, from, like I said, from A to B, our brain sets a specific pattern for a specific memory. So for example, our memory of the taste of soft drinks. So let's take, for example, the blue line is a memory of the taste of Pepsi, and the red line is the taste of Coke. So when we drink Pepsi, our brain fires that specific pattern, that blue pattern. I mean, if we drink Pepsi, yeah, our brain fires that blue pattern. If we drink Coke, our brain fires the red pattern. Simple as that. So that is how we are able to store maybe hundreds and thousands of memories in just 2 different neurons. And that ultimately is how we store billions of memories into a million neurons. Now something still doesn't add up. We now know that billions of memories can be stored in that small of a space. But what seemed endless, it actually isn't. Which is why we can still forget. How is that? Well, the answer is actually common sense. We all know that our brain is a type of storage because we store memories. Now, with every storage, for example, a bookshelf or a hard drive, it tends to be full. So, when we buy a new book or when we want to insert a new data into our hard drive, what do? We delete or we take out a book and then replace that with something new. So our brain actually does the same exact thing. Our brain automatically deletes old information and then inserts new ones. That is why you can vaguely remember your 7 years of childhood and yet can clearly remember what has happened yesterday. Because our brain are automatically programmed to delete the unnecessary old memories and yet completely install new ones and then we can fully remember them. So, as a world-renowned doctor, to conclude this speech, let us recall what we have learned today. Firstly, what are memories? Memories are basically an electrical impulse going from one neuron to the next. And how they are stored is that a memory is set a specific pattern by our brain for that specific memory. And how do we forget? Well, our brain automatically deletes old information and installs new ones. And that is how we remember and how we forget. Thank you. Bye.